hopefully that unfiltered episode kills all that anti-integration rhetoric. Remember, we're talking about our community. So I hope that made it clear that a man who packs his bags and says, yo, I'm out, no one's attacking you. No one's attacking you. Do your thing, live your life. Earth is hard as it is. Let it know, boy. Earth is hard as it is. If that's what makes you happy, do it.
Yes.
But there's men that are thinking about tomorrow for people that didn't do it. That's all that was about. I hope that clears that up, yeah? My love for black love seemed to be offending other men. So it's crazy, but I feel like we dealt with the interracial thing now. I don't really want to get into that too much today. Last week, I believe that Saturday's stream had the most important piece of content in the UK for black Brits. I'm telling man that straight. Now, people may disagree with certain points or disagree with things we were saying, but guess what? We're having the conversation. We're having the conversation now. People are now having the conversation. A lot of people feel the way we feel. A lot of people do. Now, at the end of the day, there is nothing wrong with a man feeling passionate about what it is that he comes from, his community. There is nothing wrong with a man being proud and wanting to continue that. When man's comment, whether you DM or whether you leave public comments talking about, you man are just chatting. Some of these same man will come to us talking about you man are chatting, but then you see the big old man sitting down watching Piers Morgan.
Get the fuck
So
out
what
of
you
here,
think
man.
that is then?
Please.
So what
Please,
is that?
get the fuck out of here,
So
man.
what are we doing different from Piers Morgan then? Same brothers talk this, man are just chatty patty. That sit down and watch Joe Budden and all these other mans. Allow us, man. We're doing our thing. Get it right, man. Get it right. So what are you saying, Noble? What are you saying?
Conversation rules and creates and builds and helps to shape nations and communities. So without the talk, nothing physical can be done. So you're dropping it, man. You're dropping it. This is how we do it. One unit of energy, one mind, going through life without any additional support mechanisms outside of the support circle of friends and family. Having that partner, having that husband, having that wife to pick you up, to be the reflection of you, to help you with the decisions, for you to grow as a person, as a couple, as a potential family, who will then do what in turn? Have a legacy and dynasty behind them as a singular person with no ties outside of the family ties you may have been brought up with and grown up with, and those friend ties. You are not leaving nothing necessarily behind apart from memories. That is it. There's not going to be any kind of let's just use the terminology. There's going to be nothing left. There's not going to be a little you, a big you. There's not going to be a part of you that's still here to carry on what your drive, what your purpose was. You're just hopelessly floating down the river, banging into the banks either side, trying to potentially get to your final destination without someone on that boat with the telescope looking ahead, also steering, bailing out that water. Two hands make light work.
We have to look at, since we've come here, we've made it clear time after time that a lot was lost after the Windrush generation. A lot was lost after them. Why was that lost? Because that disconnection between man and woman started to happen just after that. Just after the Windrush generation, that's when family became less important. It's only realistically since COVID, where it's become damn near impossible for a single man to survive, Properly Noble, I'm talking. They've only made that change since COVID. So remember, when you're dealing with the system, people, they do not do anything based on the next 5 or 10 years or even the next 20. They make decisions based on all 100 years from now. So with the family structure being completely obliterated, it meant that there's a divide between man and woman now. Everything that's promoted to young black Caribbean men in a popular lens is about having multiple women. No, let's really talk, but it's about having multiple women and celebration of that. So what happens is a man starts to chase that from young out. All the boys that was in the area, that's what they was on. So that was, that's what you're naturally going to do. I remember at one point, every man wanted to drive. The reason man was in a rush to drive, because they wanted it for, what would we call it in them days? A gal flex. Think about it, Noble. Now, where did all that learning come from? Now, although in the home I didn't see that, when I went out, that's what was cool. So what that does is, a lot of people are out there, they're not actually searching for any real connection. It's about together, fun, like it's just about casual hookups. That's what it's about, casual hookups. So what happens is, girls have bad experiences from young. They have bad experiences. They might meet a man, he's got all 2-3 gal. You know what I mean? He's going to tell you what you want to hear because he wants you to free your. So now what happens is, them girls are traumatized. Now they believe that that's the norm. You see what I'm saying? That's the norm. Like, yeah, that's how men are. That's just how men are. I've had a bad experience. Now, some may look at it like, nah, that's an individual. That's not how men actually are. That's just an individual. But others look at it like that's all men. So now she's going into relationships with 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Unfortunately, it's the rites of passage for males, specifically males. I can't speak for women per se. I can talk about the effects based upon me speaking with women. But the rights of a male, unfortunately, because as you say in the hallmark, there wasn't necessarily people, your mom, your dad, your sisters wasn't saying, yo, Mark, go out there and get pure. No, of course that wasn't happening. But when you put your headphones on, mans are killing it. You go outside, the elders are killing it. They're walking with these beautiful women, different ones a lot of the times. Like, who you with now? Oh, yeah. London thing still. Oh, yeah. I got Nottingham thing. I got Leicester thing. Those the flexes. Mans would have a big grin on their face. Pretty little thing with them. Yeah. And your brethrens and everybody else is like, yo, that's the flex. I want to be like that. I want to be the man who meets the girl off the bus at Dudley Road and walks around to the house and everyone's on the bliddock saying, yo, who's Noble with this time? Who is he got? You know what I mean? And then she leaves out, hair maybe a little bit, whatever. And then you talk the thing. That's what was celebrated. I didn't have elder man saying, yo, brother, listen, Noble, I know you're young and thing, yeah, man, have some fun, but you need to find yourself an empress. Yeah? There wasn't that input. I didn't get no input like that. You know what I mean? So all we're getting is the glorification of like, yo, man, slang the thing around and a nothing. Like, have fun, boss. Find them, F them, and flee. Triple F. That's what it was. Big difference, I will say this, is man wasn't saying anything to the gal them so that them pants came down. Man would say it like it is. And you either accepted it or you rejected it.
You meet women, and you can see that they've been the victim of the abuse of and what I mean by that is where man have just used them. So now they've got almost like a PTSD.
Yes.
And like I told you, so there'll be girl who they've got 1 foot in and 1 foot out in the relationship. So there's a lot of damaged people that are walking around. And then people that, if you look from the late 90s, then take it from that generation, the late 90s, the images started to change.
You're finishing school in second year and you're coming out to the front gates and there's a 3 Series BMW jammed out with a dread, yeah? And Vicky or Charmaine is bowling into the little 3 Series BMW and getting zupped off. Or they're getting collected at lunchtime and then coming back, hair all messed up and tie getting put back
media,
on.
Noble. Media. One word. Media. And I'm not just talking about systematic media, I'm talking about when Belly came out, there was a scene when there's a 15-year-old girl who's in the car with DMX. You remember that scene? Now, what that did is it normalized them things. Because I remember enough of them garage MCs in Brum, used to park outside the school and all that. And that's because them girls had been turned into like, yo, these man can't do nothing for us in school. These man ain't, with their pocket money or whatever, can't.
Stop there. One quick thing.
Yeah, man.
That is right, but also the mentality. I've said this many times, fortunately, and it's proven, young women develop socially and mentally quicker than males. That's from what I've learned, from what I've spoken to women. That's why there was that connection. Like, nah, I ain't checking you. That again. So again, this ties in with my trauma. Why wasn't I checking for gal in my year? Because I didn't see them like that. I'm checking for gal when I'm in first year. I'm looking at the gal in third year. So that would be year what's that year?
Year 9.
Year 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking for them. And then in fifth year, the ones who are just about to leave, I'm hunting them gal, them young ladies around. What you saying? The ones who are in my sister's year, yeah, and older. I'm looking for them. They've got my eyes.
Yeah, because you've already been programmed. You've already been programmed. You know what I mean? Your innocence has already been taken. So what I'm saying is, once we lost that importance to where everyone was just, we got sexualized as a community, the actual act of intimacy is almost like a transfer of energy, you know.
It is not almost. It is.
Yeah. It's a way that people transfer their love to each other. Obviously, we create life, but it's with a view of love. But man has abused it that much, and then hip hop got sexualized, and the UK followed suit, and a lot of us followed what the African Americans were doing. Because big up Pablo, he said it factually. We kind of mirror them, you know.
Yes, come on.
Yeah, we mirror them, the African Americans, because when you think about it, we were listening to them. They were telling, man, them and the yard people were telling, man, to run it up. Go out there, dip in whatever you can. Dip it. Do what you need to do. I remember when the Ninja Man quote, how much children you got? 21. Real bad, man. You remember that? Remember? You see what I'm trying to say? It was something that was selling. I remember when I used to be in a shop, and I remember when Elephant Man was coming to England, and man were like, yo, my man's killing it. I've heard that he's got all 15 youths, you know? And I'm like, what? That's not something you brag about. But those things was normalized in our community. Yes. Normalized. The baby mother, baby father culture. Where did it come? These weren't things we just picked up.
Nope.
They were built up. The government played its part. But guess what? The government knew. One day, you know, you see in England, your gas and electric's going to cost you all $2,200 a year.
Come on.
And hear what? You're going to be single.
Yes.
And we're going to make sure. They played their part because they made sure that it's easy to break up.
They set the scene, man. They set the scene and put all the obstacles, all the hurdles in place and the mazes. So once you come out of that maze, there's an entrance and there's an exit, and they've designed that whole thing.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter if it takes you a day, 2 days, 2 weeks. The end goal is you're going to go all the way through this damn maze until you get out.
What that does is it makes man, yo, allow that. I ain't doing that. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to enter in no relationship with that person or this person, or man start to take away the value from themselves.
Yeah.
To where they only value others. That's how you lose. That's how the men. There was a comment original. It's a really sad comment, and the girl was like, yo, that war's been lost. Black British Caribbean men, that war's been lost. Like, it's actually probably like 10%, probably less than 10% that are really for pushing forward and a better tomorrow. It's really a low percentage of people. Like, think about it, Noble. Like, look at the content in Black Britain. Just look at it, watch it, and then compare it to a 90s lens, an 80s lens. We have lost so much of our morals, the things that we're doing, the type of comedy. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta think about it. This is why, if you notice, go back. I'm really sincere with this. Look at when Sideman and all them kind of mans were doing like the Rasta skits. You notice how I always used to speak out against them things, because you're creating a view that kind of man is like a bomb. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these mans have done that over the years. They've done it over the years. So that's why we end up in a place where people are like, yo, I don't even want to be, relationship. There's people who have just submitted to the idea that I just want to do this journey alone. See what I mean? I remember doing that journey alone. Like, there's people who have done the journey alone, and it's fine. It's fine for the first, when you're healthy and everything's good. But when you get to the back end, you almost become a burden to people. And I know it sounds really bad. There's no guarantee that you're going to die at 80. You could live to 100. You could live to 90. Now, you may get dementia. you may have issues that you just can't, you know what I mean? Like that can happen fast. Now, a lot of people are going to grow old like that with nobody.
And they're not, this is Mark, they're not thinking past December. This is the whole point. They're not even thinking to that. Like, what can I put in place? Like, I know elders, Rising Paradise, who knew that their first marriage didn't work out. The second marriage clearly didn't work out. They're going for the third marriage. So they're like, you know what? I'm going to go to Mama Africa and I'm going to get a wife from there and live a see what I want. You know, it's not necessarily like, trustfully, we're going to form some kind of love out of this thing and whatever. And of course, it's going to be physical. But I need you to take care of me, man. I'm getting old.
Yeah. That's what a lot of men will have to do.
This is it. But again, having that idea, that plan, not getting to the point where you oh shit, did I lock the house before I left? Before then, it's just, unfortunately, you know, I'm a male. Yeah, I get it. I said it last week. They're just thinking with their small heads. That's all it is. And that's not life. Come on, grow up, people. People are 30, 40, 50 years old and they're going on like they're still teenagers. Like, it's all about putting your things. That's not what life is. Life is so much more than that. Don't get me wrong, it's fun. It's hella fun.
But find the person that you can do that with all day long if you want them. Remember, when you overset, when you only exposed to like sexual things, like I said, growing up, I can only speak about my era, but I remember like MTV Bass. You see what I'm saying? I remember when the Ludacris album come out and man just playing that, I got hoes. You remember that song?
Come on.
Man, listen. You think that don't affect you?
Come on.
You think that don't? All of that changed a generation of men that were also mollycoddled, which brings us into our next bullet point, which is absent fathers and bitter mothers. Sometimes, you know, I'll just zone out, you know, Noble, and just really appreciate this beautiful creation that we are a part of, you know. And when you really analyze this creation, yeah, and I say, if I was creating an existence such as what we live on, and I was creating beings that were living within that existence, would I give them these organs to replenish the earth and create life, or to have fun? Now, I get it. Humans have found that, okay, it's pleasurable. Back in the day, it might have just been a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Now it's all kind of, man's pretending to be a plumber, man's pretending to be a builder, God knows what. man are playing out scenarios and that. Then it's like, okay, you know, now you're doing things that ain't even normal. You see what I'm saying? So now, man are watching that and they're like, damn, that what was laid out for me to do, that's natural to do. Nah, man, I'm looking at this. I want this. I want to do this. So now you might go back to this girl and they're doing their little thing. Like, what you doing? What you doing? I seen it on the. Don't do that, man. You're mad. All right, safe. I'm going to find that from somebody else. You see what I'm saying? Now he's out there doing that because his mind has been infiltrated to make him think, I need it. I need to be a part of that. I have to be a part of that. We've lost realists. We've lost unapologetically black realists in the UK. We were dying breed. We're about to go extinct like the Megalodon, Noble. We're like the Megalodon. There's only the Megalodon gone a long time, but remember when at the end they said there was only like 4 in the whole ocean?
Yes.
That's how it's looking. Because a lot of men now have just conformed to, I just want to live here, do my few years on earth and then just cut. I don't care about nothing. And that is where things went wrong. When sex became about fun only, to where man's looking at girl, yo, I'd kill that, you know. When it became like that, a lot of our parents, all right, let me get it right. I remember I was chatting to a big man. Anyway, I got talking to this big man now, Jamaican, black Brit, born here, but first gen, whatever the case may be. He goes to me, yo, when Lovers Rock came out, you know, it was a movie. He said, yo, Lovers Rock came out. He said it was a movie. He said he used to go out every Friday night and they'd have something called blues
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, blues. Come on, you know the thing.
blues house parties for those who
Yeah,
don't
man.
know, because they
St.
you couldn't.
Peter's Road, Heathfield Road, would running it them
But remember,
times.
the Londoners were doing blues. The Mancunians were doing blues. Man's from Bristol. The man's in Leeds. All across the UK. But Birmingham had hot blues. This man had blues. That man had blues. Now he said every Friday he'd work, in the week, Monday to Friday, and he said he'd put together his little bread and he'd go and get a shirt, press down her trousers, spray on some cologne, cream down himself, but he said he'd go into the dance and he's all slow whining with a woman until the lights come on. Yeah. He said it'd be like, that's how most of his kids, that's how they bred. First night business. Yeah, that's what my man would just run. I said, for real? He's like, yeah, man. It was just, I remember he was known, you get me? So,
come on.
He said it was just,
yeah, man.
And he goes that it was like, it was normal. In them, he was like, yo, there was a bagger man, but what that did is.
But Mark, that was not all of the man there in the blues was doing that.
Not all, but remember the ones that did it are the ones who got popularized.
Exactly.
And the reason I'm telling that story, is because I'm saying that's when we lost the real purpose of meeting each other, which is to build families, to build relate. So when it became just about sleeping with each other, what happened is people weren't even in love. So that transfer of love.
Exactly.
Children were just being born
from lust.
Yeah. Man slept with a woman, got her pregnant, born out of lust. There's no love. There was no courting. No. They don't even know each other.
Nope.
So now that child's born and it's like the man, he don't even know you. He don't know you, but he knows he's got a child now.
Yes.
The woman, she's like, damn, I've now got this child. You can do what you want. You can continue on your journey, but I'm now, it sounds bad, but I'm now stuck with this child and going it alone. A lot of brothers were born like that, Noble. A lot. So then what happened then is like, you're not seeing him. You don't help me. You don't help me. You're not seeing him. So now that youth grows up like, yo, I don't know, Dad. Like everything I hear is bad. I don't see this man. Look how much of these man, all our whole generation, if you think about most of them that were into badness, what was their number one excuse?
Didn't have a father figure.
There you go. I never had no dad, A, B, or C. But the other conversation is not being explored enough. That yes, there were men who got women pregnant and then got off. Yeah, that's correct. But there was other men who, yo, you've moved on. You're not seeing this youth now. You're out. You're out. Now the system is very happy to back that. Now what I mean is they will, back in them days, it was a lot harder for men. Because remember, a lot of men didn't care, but a lot of men just didn't want to be involved in the system. That's what happened. And that happened. Enough men I know have been born that way.
I got brethren who are upon that vibe, like, yeah, man, I've probably got some children. I know I have, but I don't know, you know what I mean? We didn't keep in contact. I'm like, that's irresponsible. Why would you do that?
For that few seconds of feeling a man's creating life, you got to think, for that few seconds, you're creating you don't even know the problem that you've just unleashed. The absentee fathers thing, yeah, that's almost like, what's the, when like things are, it's set out that way, because even if a woman does not want you to see your child, you're not seeing your child.
No.
I'm telling any man that straight. If a woman directly says, you're not seeing this you, I do not care, you're not seeing this you, you're not seeing him. I'm telling any man that on the stream, anywhere, if she directly don't want you to see him, you're not going to see him. And it's a thing called parental alienation.
Yes.
That is a major problem within our community, because a lot of children were born through lust. A lot of people's parents didn't even have that transfer of love. So when things went wrong, I don't love you. You know what I mean? I don't love you. Now, some women were sensible and still gave fathers access. Like, I know certain women who, they've gone through hell with the baby father, but they'll never say one negative word, because they'll say, like, let the child make up their mind themselves.
Yes.
But I won't put an input on it. But what happened is parental alienation became a tool that was used heavily within our community. Heavy, to where this is why a lot of men who think that you're going to leave the community and you won't have those issues. Parental alienation is major in mixed couples as well. Major in mixed couples, especially at the white and black mix. A lot of our aunties, what happened is they would meet men and have a bad experience, and then it would be like, yo, such and such went yard and found someone, because them man would come here, cook, clean out the yard, like them man were like domesticated. But remember, you might get, I'm not saying all of them, but you might get a 4 years like that. You know them ones, noble. You might get a 4 years, but once he finds his feet here, you already know what time it is, man. So what would happen is our aunties would go there and man's rubbing their foot, cooking. Like Noble said, he's laying pipe. And I'm not talking about Mario. So your aunt is saying, oh my days. I'm not getting this from man in the UK. From them English dons like our dads and that. I'm not, these man ain't doing that in the UK. So here what? I'm going to bring him. I'm going to bring him here. Some women wouldn't even bring him. They would just have this mad romance and they're not pregnant. I could name 5 right now that just end up pregnant, and then boom, some of them don't even know where to find that man again. Once he gets up and goes, now you come back to the UK with this child who don't have one whole side of his identity doesn't exist.
His lineage, yep, he has got no access to it. Remember, Shirley Valentine for the old heads, yeah? The Shirley Valentine, yeah, you're a Brit, you go on holiday and you have a whirlwind romance. You don't win no Jimmy Hat or nothing like that. So you can get catch and you can come back, and if you want, you can bring Carlos or you can bring Stefan or flipping Korickia, you know what I mean? Or if you're in JA, you can bring Dennis back, you know what I mean? You can bring Roberto back. That's the promotion, boss. And if you're going to fall for it, you're going to trip and fall for it, then unfortunately, you are going to reap the rewards. And then we move on to the 2 generations after that child's been born. And we're in the Gregorian year of 2024. Yeah,
man, it's true. Because even when I was in Gambia, last year, I'm in Gambia now. And I see these 2 sisters, like they gotta be about 65 ahead. So I say, good evening, ladies. How you doing? They're like, hello. How you doing, son? Like, yeah, man, I'm cool, man. Just here. Where you from? Like, yeah, Tottenham, man. You from Tottenham? Where? You see, when they stepped out, Noble, it's 2 young Gambian brothers that they had on their arm, you know. I'm talking not a day over 25. That's what it's really come down to. Because you mean to tell me that you've had to leave the UK to go there to do that? It's crazy, but that it's all been successfully done to where this new generation, they're going to be in for a shock if they're not building together. They're going to be in for a shock because they're the first generation that are going to require families.
Come on,
because I'm telling you now, these men ain't going to take their foot off the gas.
Nope.
They're going to ride it till the wheel falls off. I'm telling you now. Remember they said, we putting a cap on. You get a letter one day, say, yo, British Gas, what they say, man? Yeah, man, we're going to reduce the bill. We're putting a cap. Proper things. Couple of months down the line, you get another bill. You remember that cap we told you about a few months? Yeah, it's going up now to this. It's even way more than it was before.
Yeah.
They're going to take time, ease them things in. Ease it in. They're just doing it slow. They're just moving slow. But eventually, it's going to be at the point, you've just seen what they announced yesterday.
Come on.
Average house price is now 280. Is it 280, Noble?
280, yeah.
280,000. That's the average price. Now you think they're going to tackle this country alone? No. And like someone said the other day, most men are completely unskilled.
Come on.
Have zero hustle in anything.
Come on.
And have wasted a lot of time. In them days, I remember my dad said to me one thing, in his day, he goes, when he used to be traveling in the mornings to like markets and different places, on like a Saturday morning, you'd see everyone like, when he's getting up to go on these long treks, you'd see man coming in from the blues, man's walking hand in hand with woman, all them things, and he's saying, damn, that must have been going mad, that party must have been nice last night, boss, but damn, I need to get my head in the game with this thing, what I'm building, because if I don't build this, you know what I mean?
Where's the guardrails?
Exactly, and a lot of them, man, wasted their time partying as well. Partying. You see what I'm saying? Going out, having a good time. A lot of time was wasted because there were houses for £10,000.
Come on.
For
less than that. Less than that.
This is what I'm saying. Look at all you Londoners down there, yeah. Look at all you Londoners, man. Yo, if man's had a time machine, yeah, And I'm telling you, brothers could have did it. Because remember, a deposit was nothing in them days. From you had a partner, but remember, man's just thought, yo, them houses will never ever, the price ain't gonna change. We weren't thinking about tomorrow where Mr. Singh knew, yo, these things are 10 racks today. Damn, they're gonna be 100 soon. Let's cop some of these, or let's put our bread together and started doing that. Yeah, that's what they started to do. You know how much Asian dons bought them things there? But you rent alone can retire you right now. In one of them. So you gotta think, mans weren't thinking long term. It was about now, here and now, I'm doing my thing now. And once that got taken from us, the short term thinking. So we've lost, like we said last week, you've lost your identity. So you don't know, you're not connected to where you've came from. Now you're here and you're trying to fit in. You see what I'm saying? And now it's just like, I just want to get through this year. Next year, I just want to get through this year. Following year, I just want to get through this year. Whereas other men are saying, yo, even if I have to put my head down for 10 years to make sure the next man's nice. You know how much Indian dons, their dad sat in the corner shop and then they ended up taking things to a next level.
We had a in that generation, 3 generations back, the Windrush generation specifically, we had that. We were forced into community. We were forced into that form of community. But what we didn't do successfully, what our Asian brethren and sisters have done, the East Indians, etc., is they had that business head on. So other people within that community were seeing, oh, sugar, the Baines are doing it like that. Hey, yo, Belgium, yo, listen, you got like 19 houses and stuff now. Like, give me the 411. What's the deal's nada? You know Raj over there. He does my mortgages for me. Rah! Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. And he can do it like off the book. Because think about it. If people are naive, and it's done today, I don't know how they still do it, but there's mortgages that are done off the book, okay? There's all types of ways to purchase properties these days.
Yeah, man. 1,000.
Okay. Back then, again, having that, yo, okay, you bought that. People were just thinking about, oh, I'm okay financially. I'm working at this factory. The wife's at the bank working. We've got enough. Allow the renting. You know what I mean? 4 shillings a week and all that business. Allow that. Let's buy the house. It's going to be 6K. We're going to do it over 15 years. Boom. That's it. They didn't necessarily think of, okay, let me tell flipping Sister Betty over there, yo, allow the renting, right? Because if you think about it over the 15 years, if you buy the thing, you're going to be saving yourself like 2/3 of the money.
Facts.
Those lessons wasn't necessarily being imparted. It was all collective. It was all like singular, like, you know, this nihilistic business where it's about me. Back then, it was about me in that respect, but there was still that community. But the financial elements, those lessons, there wasn't no one was telling them at the laundrette when they'd go to the laundrette, yo, listen, we got the house now. You know what I mean? That's why we drew that partner out. You know what I mean? So we can get the deposit for the thing. Nah, we didn't get the washing machine like y'all did, though, because we're not having those conversations.
No, we're not. And part of that is because the short-term thinking.